So this is actually Understanding Ecosystems Part 6. I keep getting the parts confused. I don't know. Whatever. We're on Part 6 now, and we're going to get through the next couple of slides together. So what are herbivores? Animals that eat mainly plants are called herbivores. Since they are the first animals to eat the plants, they are called the primary consumers in the food chain. So if you go back to, that's too far back, you go back to the slide that had the caterpillar and the frog and the snake. The caterpillar is what we call a primary consumer because they eat the plants. So they're the first person or first animal to eat something. Energy from that plant moves into the animal when they eat the plant. So whatever energy the plant got from the sun, the animals will absorb as they eat the plants and break down the plant. So here's a couple pictures of some herbivores. You've got zebras, giraffes, elephants, pandas, deer, antelope. I guess those are both kind of deer there, I guess. I don't know. What are herbivores? So imagine eating grass for dinner. Although it doesn't sound very tasty to us, there are many animals that survive on only plants. This includes like roots and leaves and grasses and flowers, fruits, and even bark. So they eat all of those kind of like vegetation type things. Elephants, rhinos, zebras, hippos, cows, and horses are grazers. They all eat enormous amounts of grass and plants that grow close to the ground. And many herbivores have special digestive systems that allow them to digest the types of plants and grasses that they eat. Um, sure, we can eat plants and things like you have a salad every once in a while, but our body is designed to eat more than that. Their body is designed to live solely on those kinds of plants and grasses. Pollen and nectar are products of a flower. There are many insects like bees, wasps, butterflies, and others that eat the pollen and the nectar. So they're also considered herbivores because they're eating like part of the plant. You know, they're not going to sit there and just munch on the leaf of the plant. They're going to eat the byproduct of the plant, which would be like the pollen or the nectar or the fruit. Many herbivores like caterpillars, giraffes, and moose eat a ton of leaves. Koalas like to eat the eucalyptus leaves. Eucalyptus leaves are poisonous to other animals, but not to koalas. So that's interesting. Like their body has its own system to break down that poison. Whereas if we were to eat it, we would get sick. Don't forget about the picky pandas who love to eat bamboo leaves. Yeah, so their digestive systems are fully equipped for that hard bamboo and the leaves that come on it. Some herbivores eat mostly fruit. Have you ever seen a monkey eating a banana? Most monkeys, apes, bats, mice, and even birds are fruit eaters. The grains are the seeds of the plants. Oh, okay, yeah. So they're eating like their grain that they're getting is from the seeds of the plants. If you think about bird feeders, they're usually filled with different kinds of seeds. Not only are the birds eating those seeds, but insects, squirrels, chipmunks, and mice eat seeds too. So one thing I want to mention too is everybody always gets mad when like the squirrels and the chipmunks are at their bird feeder, but they need that nutrition too. Did you know that there are people who eat only plants and plant foods? They're called vegetarians. There are more than 7 million Americans who are vegetarians, with numbers much higher than the rest of the world. So because of modern growing and modern technology, we have learned that we can survive on a diet of plants and plant foods like fruits and vegetables. So we've found other ways to supplement the nutrients that we would be missing from eating animals into our diet so that we can continue to grow and live a healthy life. Let's talk about carnivores. So all living things need food to get their energy to live. Animals need energy to run, fly, swim, jump, and their energy comes from food. So like the plants get their energy from the sun, The herbivores get their energy from the plants. Carnivores are meat eaters, and they eat other animals, and that's how they get their energy. So the energy starts out by being absorbed into the plant, and then the herbivore will eat the plant, and then the carnivore will eat the herbivore. Carnivores or secondary consumers are very important to the ecosystem because they keep other species from getting overpopulated. So, what comes to mind when you think of a carnivore? Maybe a shark or a lion. But don't forget that carnivores can be found in your own backyard too, like owls, insects, frogs, and snakes. Many carnivores are predators. Predators hunt and eat other animals. The animals that predators hunt and eat are called prey. A deer is a tiger's prey. The tiger is the predator, and the tiger is hunting deer. The deer doesn't want to be a tiger's meal, so it runs fast, as fast as it can to get away. So that's kind of like, the food chain there. Like the plants absorb the sun, the deer eats the plants, the tiger eats the deer, and so on. There's also tiny carnivores. Did you know that dragonflies are carnivores? Dragonflies eat butterflies, bees, and other flying insects. They lay their eggs near the water so they can hunt flying insects that come close to the water. It's pretty interesting. You don't really think about a bug being a carnivore, unless you think about the dreaded spider. The spider is also a carnivore, right? They use their webs to catch flies and other insects. This is crazy. So spiders can eat insects, mice, lizards, and other small spiders. Ew, makes me dislike them even more. Frogs are carnivores too. Frogs have long, sticky tongues to catch their prey. Frogs blend into their environment, making them hard to see. This way, they can watch the prey unnoticed, mainly insects, and the prey come close enough for the frogs to catch them. Their long tongues seem to spring out of their mouth and capture the insect in less than a second. So a lot of times when you think about carnivore, you think about the big animals, right? You think about a lion, a tiger, a shark, but small creatures like dragonflies, spiders, and snakes and frogs are also carnivores. They eat other living things. So what about omnivores? Did you know that omnivores are both meat eaters and plant eaters? Most people are omnivores. So if you think about people, we eat plants and animals. Some of us, again, choose to be a vegetarian. But the majority of us eat both. We'll have a steak dinner and maybe we'll have strawberries for dessert. That's being an omnivore. You're eating meat and plant-based foods. Just like carnivores, omnivores are very important to any ecosystem because they keep other species from getting overpopulated. So here's a couple photos. We've got like a weasel, a bear, a raccoon, and I want to say that's like a badger. Not really exactly sure. It's like two animals morphed into one. I don't know what's going on there. Interesting. Maybe I don't know. So what are omnivores? Again, they're most animals that are cared for by people, like dogs and cats. They're technically, I guess, like back in the day, they were carnivores because they would eat like small prey. But the food that we give them now has meat and plants in it. So we give them more of a balanced diet now. Many omnivores are scavengers and opportunistic feeders. Opportunistic feeders eat foods that are available, giving them a better possibility of surviving. So like foxes, raccoons, possums, I should say opossums, and bears are opportunistic feeders. So like a bear, here's a good example. A bear, possum, a raccoon, they'll scavenge for food, right? They might go in your trash can. They might come near your campsite. So they're basically going to get whatever food they can get. Have you ever seen a seagull glide in and pick up a leftover French fry? They scavenge for food, whether it's at the beach or outside of a popular restaurant. So many birds are actually omnivores, eating seeds, fruits, insects, and worms. PU. Skunks are stinky omnivores. Although skunks like meat better, they will eat whatever they can find. So again, like they might be in your trash and they might go through your trash, but they would rather eat like little bugs and things like that. Chipmunks, squirrels, mice, and rats are small omnivores, often called rodents. They like to eat nuts, seeds, insects, eggs, and worms, but they'll eat anything when they're hungry enough. So sometimes they get into the people, into our gardens and they eat our vegetables and things like that. So if they're in our gardens, it probably means that they don't have food elsewhere. Compared to carnivores and herbivores, omnivores have a better chance of surviving in the wild. Well, why? That's because their diets can change. So when the ecosystems change and the food becomes scarce, they are more likely to find something to eat somewhere else. So you can see that bear's eating a jar of peanut butter that he found. So they're going to really work on finding food wherever they can. And I just want to go. Okay, so we're gonna hold off on the next couple of slides. So this whole video is about herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. So you're going to go ahead and answer a couple questions on your Google form about these types of animals.